From the Fathead Studio in Speedway, Indiana, this is The Skinny.
Man, am I still pretty? And he's like, you ain't pretty, but you're going to be all right.
And now I'm just hanging on, looking at the wall, like flying this way. And I'm like, oh man, I got to let go of this thing at some point.
And then there's one that could literally pick you up.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not really sure about that, but yeah.
That's called a helicopter.
well,
And the last lap was just chaos. I mean, like 4 wide, 5 wide.
It's like, whatever, if you land it and send it into the fence, you're probably not going to get hurt. Bounce, and then this insane roll, the car that Keegan was in. I mean, I don't know, it's the shape of the Beetle or what, but that thing sent it.
So I was the supercharger specialist on my old man's car with
Specialist?
Yeah, it sounds cooler than crew guy.
Hi, I'm Tony Stewart.
I'm Mario Andretti.
I'm Christy Lee.
I'm Alexander Rossi.
I'm Cruz Pedregon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Hammond, and this is The Skinny.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Performance Racing Industry Show. We're here in Indianapolis. You are watching The Skinny. I'm Ken Stout. The big man is Rico Elmore. We have Kyle Koretsky that will join us, first guest here of the weekend. Typically, we would do this show out of our studios in Speedway, Indiana. It's about 20 minutes away, but we are certainly happy to be here. Part of the MAVTV booth, of course, the home of The Skinny as well. Typically, Michael Young would be here as well. He's lost somewhere in the show.
Still can't find his way.
We don't know where he's at, but he'll show up probably here in a little bit, and we'll work him into a couple of shows a little bit later on. But this place is incredible. Wonderful to be here, be part of this. How many years have you been coming, Kyle?
I think this is my 13th year.
Wow.
Yeah, coming, and I help out the Northrop family, and it's exciting. Exciting to be here on the Skinny this weekend, and looking forward to it.
So before we go any further, we have to say congratulations to you. You and Stephanie are expecting, correct?
We are, January 23rd, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4. So it's pretty cool. So now, yeah, we're expecting our first child, little girl, Nova, and we're excited.
Nova, where did the name come from?
I have a couple Chevy Novas, and that's the only car she won't let me sell. So I think everything else in the garage is for sale, and she's like, I like that Nova. I'm like, Nova? So we're going back and forth on the airplane going to California, and she's like, Nova. I'm like, what about it? Like, I know I have one. So no, that's our daughter's name.
I love that.
I'm like,
That is unique for sure. I mean, it definitely fits when you said it. I'm like, I would have never ever thought of it as a name for a little girl, but it definitely fits. She's going to have a heck of a time finding one of those license plates for a bicycle.
Right. That never works out.
Yeah, we joke around. If we ever have a boy, it's going to be Chevy. So that's what my dad says. So now we're excited. We're looking forward to it, and be parents. I think that's what the next step in life is, and yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, congratulations on that.
And a girl at that.
And a girl at that, yep.
Yeah,
so she won't be at the racetrack. Yeah.
They're the best till they get to be about 12. I have a daughter first, and then I had a son second. It was perfect. We're done. But the little girl was just magical until she hit just those preteen years, and boy, the drama switch goes boom.
The fangs come out and the claws grow. So,
yeah. She's gonna be. Hopefully she likes racing, but she'll be right up against my hip. I'll keep a close leash on her, that's for sure.
Well, that's cool. That's super cool. So talk to me about your day job. Do you still work? I read that you're a VP at the company, your family company, KPK. Is that what it is?
Development.
Development. And but I know you guys also purchased Maple Grove. So are you more with KPK?
I'm more KPK. When we first purchased the track in 2022, I was full-time at the track every single day, 7 days a week. Now we have a great staff. We have a general manager, Shane. So we have getting our ducks in a row to where I don't have to be there as much. My mom and my sister are heavily involved on the weekend and day-to-day operation. But Steph always asks, well, what do you do? I'm like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't have a job title. My dad was never big on job titles. Just get the job done. Don't, ask questions later. Just get it done. And that's what we do.
Wear a few different hats. And speaking of hats, that's a pretty cool.
Yeah. I got a Maple Grove hat on, trying to support that, and Racers tape this weekend. And
that Racers tape's some good stuff.
It is good stuff. They make all kinds of different products, from production stuff down to race car stuff. Everything in between. Custom logo tape. You're doing a lot of packaging. Shipping out products every single day. SRI, Bannon's, Motor State are some of our big clients.
Wow.
So
are they out by you? Is that where they're?
Yeah. So Northrop shop is a football field, and I could throw a football. and hit their building. So I see Danny every single day. We have lunch or we talk crap to each other every single day. And, you know, it's a good relationship. My dad and his dad they raced together in the beginning. Dave drove my dad's pro stock car there for a little bit. And we've just been really good friends. He's one of my best friends. And I help him out here every week. And I think every year the PRI is the same time, I think. And every year I get fired Wednesday night when I come. My dad's like, you got to be at work. Oh, blah, you're fired, blah, blah. Then I get back on Saturday. Oh, you got to go fix the crusher. I'm like, I thought I got fired. You know what I mean? And then
we saved this job for you.
Yeah, it's the same every year, and I love it. I love him to death. But it's cool, man. Working with your family is tough. It's a tough business to do. To try to bond with everybody and not argue. And especially my dad and I are same. We're both hotheads. We're kind of think alike in a lot of different ways, and it's tough. But we make it work, and we love racing. So I have to work to race. So racing's not free.
It's it definitely brings a different dynamic. I grew up working with my dad, and then of course, you know, when I started Fatheads, you know, we you know, my kids came in and worked, and it's a total different element because they know every button to push, and you know every button to push. But inadvertently, it definitely happens. The buttons get pushed, so it's like yeah. I don't know, but yeah, it's tough. I get that.
You ask my dad, I think I push his buttons every day.
Yeah,
every single day.
Right.
It's tough, but
right.
I think it's good though. Like you said, your family, your kids work with you. That you kind of get to see what it takes. You know, and that's what my dad taught us, like what it takes to really do this. Like, all right, yeah, we can go racing, but it takes X amount of hours and work and, you know, financial to do it. And that's kind of cool. That's where we started with them, and now we have the respect of what it takes to go racing and try to make it work. But you got to get better. You can't, if you're not first, you're last. And I really do believe that.
The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach, innovation is our life force.
Welcome back to the Skinny, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ken Stout. That is Rico Elmore sitting right alongside, finishing up our second year here on MAVTV, getting ready to start our third year, I believe 5 years for the show.
Yep.
It's had some great success here. Certainly a wonderful home here at MAVTV. They seem to be happy with us. Apparently, they put us in their booth.
They let us come back, and we're in their booth, so I mean, something's right.
The president's here. He didn't yell at me and throw me out this morning, so CJ is inside of the booth. We have Kyle Koretsky sitting right alongside competitor in the NHRA Pro Stock ranks. So it's great to kick things off with him here. PRI, this is Thursday morning. We are doing 8 shows out of here, so we'll be super busy, especially here on Thursday. If you get a chance to come to the show, if you're a racing fan, this should be on the bucket list because anything and everything is here when it comes to racing.
You name it. You can start at one end of the building and walk out with a full-blown race car. Pretty cool.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. Never thought about that.
Yeah, I never thought of it.
Including the machinery
to build the engine, the chassis, the welder, the engine components, chassis, you name it, tires, wheels.
Big press releases, you know.
Big press releases all the time. Big releases.
They're alluding to an NHRA press release that happened a little earlier. I won't go down that road right now. But, yeah, this place is super cool. What I really love about it, I mean, obviously SEMA is a big one as well, but it's so big, it's hard to see it all. You almost have to have a plan going in. Here, if you go to this show Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can see this entire show no problem.
Yeah, I think you'd see it. You know, SEMA's like a vacation, like a job. You have to have a plan. You know, I'm not a planner. I wing everything my whole life, and you come here Thursday morning, you could shake the hands and see the people, and by Saturday you're like, cool, that was a success, and I seen everything I wanted to see and met all these great people, and it's a cool show. If you're in any kind of motorsports, it doesn't have to be drag racing, dirt track, road course, tractor pulling. They got tractor pulling trucks here that are crazy.
Monster trucks,
monster
street cars,
trucks,
whatever.
Yeah, you name it. I mean, I think they did a really good job putting the show together for all different audience, not just drag racing. But
speaking of drag racing, man, you had a pretty good season. You ended up, you started off, you're cutting your teeth, obviously, but you ended up going to a couple of finals. You qualified #1 at Las Vegas. Things started to really come together.
Yeah, I kind of look at the seasons like this, like a roller coaster. We had our good times and we had our bad times, but we finished 7th overall, which we try to stay in the top 5. But we struggled. We had a few races there where we just missed it. Everything just wasn't lined up, and that kind of bit us hard. But we kept fighting, and everyone stayed behind us. And with Lucas Oil and KBK and Rob's Automotive, they kind of told us to get pushing, don't give up, don't give up. And I think that's what it takes to become a top 5 player, is to have the companies behind you to tell you don't give up. Like a lot of people, I wear everything on my shoulders. If something happens, I believe it's my fault. When they tell you, hey, stop doing that, let everything go together, let the team work well together, we got your back. That makes it a driver for me to really be confident myself that I know that I have the people behind me. Even though I'm not winning every single weekend, they're still supporting us in everything we do, every decision we make. And but you got to get better. You can't if you're not first, you're last, and I really do believe that. So
top 7 isn't bad though.
No,
it's
not
great. But
were you in the top 5, and then you had? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I read where you had like 3 races where you were out first round.
First round, 3 races, that killed me.
And then you came back at the end of the season, you started putting it together again.
Yeah, we started putting it back together, and Michael Waltrip, we got friendly with him, and he kept talking me through some stuff. So I was wearing everything on my shoulders, and that was eating me up. And we had a malfunction with a computer happen one round, lost first round. We had a little bit of other incident chassis issues that we just missed the setup on. The Pro Stock cars are so fine-tuned. We're talking about 50, 100 RPMs can make or break everything. You know what I mean? And I go out there and shift. We shipped at 10,500. I shipped at 10,300. That 200 RPMs is huge. That can make or break you from first qualifying 1 to qualifying 8th.
Wow.
That's how tight the field is. Everyone's so competitive right now. And, as a driver, you got to do your part. The crew does their part, and, a lot is on the driver. So that's why I like the class, though. Pro Stock's the hardest class, in my opinion. It really makes a whole team to come together. It's not just a crew chief is winning the races. It's the driver. It's a crew chief. It's the crew guy. It's the truck driver. It's everybody that puts it together.
I'm with him. I mean, to finish in the top 7, we've only been doing it a couple of years, but to finish in the top 7, I think the better part of 16 chasing points all year long, maybe 27, nearly 30 cars that earned points at some point in time during the season. So to be there, and you were inside of the top 5, I think, before those first round losses, right? You were
we were right up in there in the fight. I mean, I think we had a chance in points wise to still win a championship up to the countdown. But then, like I said, we just had a couple bad races and we missed it. But we're not going to give up, and we'll try to keep getting after it. And I like to be in top 5 for some reason. I know top 7, top 10 is great. Our goal is to be top 10 every year, no matter what. But to get that top 5, I feel like that really puts you up there with the elite of the crew. That really, you're right there fighting for a championship, top 5. So we have a good group, but if something's wrong, I go right for Dave. I go right for his neck.
Welcome back to the Skinny. We're here at the 2023 Performance Racing Industry Show, better known as PRI, downtown Indianapolis. We have Kyle Koretsky sitting right alongside, driver for KB Titan in the NHRA Pro Stock ranks. Just touching base with his career a little bit. This was your 3rd year inside of the car, is that correct?
3rd year, yep.
So started off in 2020?
2020, right before COVID. My first race was Gainesville of COVID. Kind of took a turn for it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So not so fast.
Not so fast. Yeah.
We touched on your father competing in this, made it to a couple of final rounds, but never won a race. And you had mentioned, man, it would be so cool to bring a Wally home to the family. And 2021, you were able to accomplish the goal.
Yeah, that was the main goal. The goal was to qualify, finish top 10, win a race. I think we accomplished most of that. And then in 21 to get that win, man, for the Koretsky family, that's huge. My dad's invested a lot of time, a lot of money in NHRA drag racing, and not to get that Wally. He's came close a few times, but it's so competitive. The racing is so competitive here on the NHRA side that you can't just come in and win. You have to earn it. And I felt that, we put ourselves with a good team and we would get it done. And I beat Greg in the final, actually, at Charlotte. So that was cool. So like
home track for it.
Home track for him, winning against Greg Anderson, somebody I looked up to growing up that used to whip my dad's ass every weekend.
He was a bad man.
And to beat him, like it was such a cool experience to get my first win, but to win against Greg Anderson, it was like, wow, we just did that. And it was cool. It was cool for my dad, and he loved it. And we need to win some more, though.
It's funny that you bring up Greg Anderson, because one of those finals that your dad went to was U.S. Nationals, and he lost to Greg Anderson. So I'm sure he was happy to double dip on that one. I know he's a teammate, but still.
Yeah, he was pumped up. I mean, any time that a team does good, everyone's excited. But Greg is competitive, man. He's as competitive as get. And just because we're teammates, he was madder than hell that he beat, and I was so happy that he was mad. I'm like, yeah, I just got that one. But it was cool though. It was a great race, and my first win, I'll never forget it.
So as we take a look at that team, I mean, it is just an absolute wealth of knowledge. Obviously, KP Titan, and for you to get there is quite an accomplishment right off the bat. I'm sure they don't just let anybody on there. But let's talk about the crew chiefs, because you have probably 3 or 4 different crew chiefs that you can lean on. But who's the primary for you?
Primary in my car is Connolly, Dave Connolly. He's the guy I kind of gives to if something goes wrong, and I'm yelling at him. But we have a great group of guys, 4 or 5 guys that tune all the cars and chassis and engine tune up with Brian and Nate, Rob, Smith. So we have a good group. But if something's wrong, I go right for Dave. I go right for his neck. Yeah.
So Dave, obviously a former driver, has he ever come back at you and said,
"Oh hell yeah,
figure out how to drive"?
Oh yeah, he'll give it right back to you. Yeah, you do something wrong and try to blame him, he'll like, "No, come on in here. I'm going to show you this computer here. It doesn't lie." And it's funny. We always battle. My dad, he says that my dad was 007, 009 average when he was racing. I'd be like 40 on the tree most of the time that I would win, but nowadays that doesn't get you a win in pro stock. And my dad like, "God, you got to get better." I was 009. I would go talk to Dave. He's like, "Let me just pull up the stats here." And he'd pull up all my dad's reaction times. So it was funny. But Dave knows. Dave's has been a great coach to me, looking up to Dave. I mean, the guy's won in anything he's driven.
What, he won the $100,000 in that Nova wagon?
Bracket
We just
racing.
watched that.
That's my Nova wagon too. Just
Is
he
it really?
doesn't want to admit to that.
Is that a 67?
Ask him about it.
Oh,
We'll leave it at that. That'll be another story. Leave it
We'll
at
get
that.
him on and ask him about the Nova wagon.
Yeah, ask him about the Nova. I said it, Dave. You heard me. But no, he's driven everything. He knows what it's like to be in the driver's seat, and he knows what it's like to tune it. So that's cool for me to say, like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Because a driver, it's hard to go to some of these other crew chiefs. They never even been behind the wheel. So to go talk to Dave, how do I fix this? And he's helped me a lot.
I would, man, that would be, but just to have those people to go to, a driver like Dave Conley, a driver like Greg Anderson.
Yeah, but and Conley was an absolute stud. But the period when he was in the pro stock ranks, the biggest problem was there was no money. Everything was dried up. So there was no sponsorship. So the opportunity for him to get he was with Cagnazzi, which he ran great with him.
Yeah.
But it was, it was tough. And, these guys, Kyle having Lucas, KPK, and folks like that. That's the toughest battle, is getting it going. You could be the best driver on the planet. If you don't have the backing, man, it's not happening.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest race to win, right? Is getting sponsors, the marketing partners to help support so you can be successful. Because, you can go out there and be the best driver in the world. If you don't have the right equipment, right team behind you, kind of like blowing smoke. You're wasting time.
What is a budget to run a competitive pro stock car these days?
It's hard to say, but upper $1.5 million, $2 million a year to run real competitive, to have your own program and make sure you have the right R&D.
Yeah,
I just saw Brandon from Lucas walk by. You want to pipe that up a little bit
Yeah,
more?
we could pipe that up. Yeah. Pipe that up.
By the way, I'm fairly certain I won't be competing in pro stock here anytime soon, based on that number.
I don't think I can get in the car either.
Yeah,
so
or even one race for that matter.
Yeah. Right.
But it is. That's what it is. It's the highest level of competition. You're running NHRA pro stock, and and all the technology that's inside of these cars. And I love the fact that it's still a driver's class, and you guys really have to be on the mark.
It's a lot of driving. It's that left clutch foot and hitting them shifts. I mean, and that's why we do it. That's why we spend the money, spend the time away from home, give up on a lot of family affairs and vacations and holidays to go racing, because it's a driver deal. It's all, if the driver's not right, the car can be the best too. So it works both ways. It's not a one-way street in pro stock. Some of the other classes are kind of one-way street, my opinion. And pro stock, you have to have every single direction going to be right.
We'll touch base on just how difficult it is to drive one of these cars. I mean, it doesn't look that bad whenever I'm watching it on TV.
Yeah,
I just go out there and bang, 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 drive it
let
down
off
through
let off the clutch and go. I mean,
We'll ask him how hard it is to actually drive one of these things. Take us through a run when we come back.
My favorite part of driving pro stock cars is the burnout. I love the burnout.
Welcome back to the Skinny. We're here in the MAVTV booth. Great to be part of the PRI show and with MAVTV, of course, as we kick off, actually finish up our second year here, and then we'll start our third year on MAVTV in 2024. Big show here. We have Kyle Koretsky sitting right alongside. Been chatting with him about how tough it is to compete in the NHRA Pro Stock ranks, as tough as any category out there. And we mentioned before we went to break, kind of teased how difficult it is to drive one of these cars. You brought it up a couple times. I want to learn a little bit more, because it is very intriguing to me whenever you say if you miss it by 50 RPMs, it affects you. That is massive. Never mind if you miss it by 200 RPM. And keep in mind, I mean, this car is launching. You guys are pulling gears. You're trying to steer this thing. And then are you zoned in on the tack to make sure you hit that shift point exactly right?
I don't look at the shift light. I kind of look through the shift light, out. We only have about 8 to 10 inches of view once the hood's on. So when my shift light
Sounds
is
safe.
Yeah, pretty safe. My shift light is above like the where like the visor would come down. So as I'm looking out, I'm kind of seeing it with my vision, and I see the light come on. So my objective is to make sure that I shift every single time the same time, and then the crew chiefs will make changes to the shift light to make the car perform.
How much do they pad that shift light? What time you see it and actually?
I think that for me, every driver is different. Reaction time is different on every driver. I think they're padding for me maybe about 200 RPM, give or take.
Okay.
But there's been some runs where, you let the clutch go, the thing goes left, and you yank it early. I mean, I've yanked it at, 9,900. Just takes the breath right out of the engine.
Falls out of the RPM.
Just falls out of the range.
Falls out of the power range.
Out of the range, and that run's pretty much shot. I mean, you try to get it down through the high gears to try to get a tune-up for the rest of the down track. But when you're trying to steer them and hit the shift light and let the clutch out, and you're thinking about that, it's really hard to try to be, perfect driving and be consistent. So Dave says, just try to be consistent. Everything you do, I'll make the changes to you. If that makes any sense. So, just if you hit the shift light at 1 second, hit the shift light 1 second, I'll make it 1.1, or I'll make it 99 or whatever. I'll adjust to you. So as long as a driver can do that, it makes the job a little easier for the crew. But if the chassis isn't right, that makes the driver's job hard. The car's not reacting. The car's going left. The car's going right. And there's been a few races where I've gone left. Everyone does it. But, some tracks just drive you left or drive you right. So in the car, you'll be sitting there lined up, and I'll be facing the wall. And we don't have radios. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yo, Dave, a little too much to drink last night, or what's going on here? He's like, no, this track is going to hook you left.
Why would you not have radios?
I don't know. That's a good question. I never used them. The team doesn't use them internally. The drivers don't have them. The crew guys all have them, but the drivers don't. I think it's a distraction thing. I think sometimes I'd be on there talking a lot of crap to them. Not focus on racing.
That? I'll tell you,
it's funny.
I agree with that.
I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it more of if they did back you up at an angle, for you to say, hey, guys, I feel like I'm aimed to the right. And for Dave to come on and say, oh, good, man, this thing's going to pull to the left a little bit. Just that little piece of mind.
Sometimes I wish I did have radios. I really do. But no, they don't run them. I do remember, though, Eddie was telling my dad was racing at Indy. It was like semifinal, and backing him up. Eddie's doing a hell of a job getting my dad down the track. And my dad gets on the race, like, Eddie, look at that blonde over there on the right. And Eddie's like, what the hell? we're in a semifinal of the U.S. National.
It's like that Mario Andretti commercial where he's driving 200 miles an hour and then he goes by and sees this cute girl in the grandstands.
So I think that's why they don't give me a radio, because I think they'd be nervous for what I'm going to say on it. But I was doing a little crew chiefing in Pomona there with the headset on, so I got to hear what goes on, and they talk a lot. They really do. They're discussing things as the car is backing up, RPM changes, where to put them in the groove, and stuff like that. But not only going down the track is very important and precise, the burnout is super important. The Pro Stock car hitting the tracks where they want you to go for the right grip, or where the bald spots are, or what to cover is super important. And the Pro Stock car is really hard to do a burnout with the fuel injection.
So what about the car when, you're going down the track, you guys don't have the big downforce, say a funny car or a fuel car has. Those things wander around, man. Does it ever feel comfortable where it's just going straight?
Yeah, no, it does. There's some tracks where it feels better than others. There's some tracks that, when you start plugging in like third gear and on, if you're shoeing it, you got to just abort. That thing's going to go on its lid quick. Down low, I feel like I'm racing a 410 sprint car sometimes. I'm just driving the hell out of it. Top end though, like fourth, fifth gear, if you're working the wheel, you're going to be in some serious trouble. And it happens so quick. I hope, knock on wood, I never get in an accident.
That short wheelbase snaps.
The short wheelbase just snaps quick. My dad's had it happen to him. Got out of the groove, overdrove it. By the time he pushed the clutch in, thing was already on its lid.
So talk me through the starting line procedure here. You do your burnout, you back up. As you creep forward, you've obviously, you put it up on the two-step, and then you're watching the tree, and you've got to dump the clutch. And you talked about your lack of vision, I guess, especially if you're in the left lane, right? It's more difficult to see the tree. But talk to me about that process and how difficult it is to be perfect every time.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is being consistent. When you go in shallow stage, and trying to consist the same brake pressure every single time, holding the right pressure on the clutch. The clutch is trying to kick your foot off. As soon as you deck it, the clutch is, applying pressure from the centrifugal force of the clutch.
Okay.
So that's the hardest part. Harder you push, think about keeping your arm straight and letting it go. It's more movement for your leg for reaction time. So lighter you are, quicker you are. And it's just like anything else, lighter on the button, better reaction time. So you're trying to make sure that you're perfect on the pedal, staging shallow, making sure you get on the RPMs. And the rest is just kind of, hang on,
It happens so quick.
It's so quick. My favorite part of driving a Pro Stock car is the burnout. I love the burnout. I love just killing the tires. I love it. I for some reason, I just like it. That's why I
know what? So now when I put the line watching, I'm going to be like, he's enjoying himself.
Oh, yeah. I love the burnout. The burnout.
Engine at full song.
Yeah, just let that thing eat. And, I don't watch it tack. It's all ear, and just, keep the range where it's happening. You feel it. When you're doing a burnout, if you're too low in RPM, you'll feel it like starting to pull you down, and you got to lay into it. It's happened. Some of the tracks are further distance, but right lane for me is harder to see the tree. Right lane, for me, I really have to come out of my seat a little bit. Not out of my seat, but really move my head over, because the pillar is right in the way of the tree. So right lane is a little harder for a driver when you're trying to hit the tree and then get back in your position to kind of look straight, because you want to sit straight in the car as well. You don't want to be crooked.
Yeah, you're not looking across the hood.
Then your body
your
body just goes crooked, and you naturally drive crooked. Run that thing right down Broadway. Tanner Gray told me, the front end in front of you, keep digging. So that's.
The Skinny is brought to you by American Coach. American Coach. Innovation is our life force. And Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear. Hardcore since '04.
Welcome back to The Skinny. I'm Ken Stout. That's Kyle Koretsky. That's Rico Elmore. Michael Young is missing somewhere in the show. We'll find him a little bit later on. Welcome back to the PRI show. We're about 20 minutes or so away from our studios, the Fatheads Eyewear Studios, located in Speedway, Indiana. And that's for our editor buddy, Ryan. Ryan gets together, and those guys have a commitment every time we say Speedway, Indiana. So we're going to throw them a little bit of love, because we love Speedway, Indiana. So that'll be a triple for him right there.
Speedway, Indiana.
Great stuff, man. Sorry, as part of the inside joke,
Yeah.
you have them on your team. We have
Yeah.
them over here on our team as well. Hey, man, we were talking about how things can really go wrong pretty quickly inside of one of these cars. 2005, you're 16 years old. Your father's going down the track. Bruce Allen makes a left-hand turn in front of him. He drives through the car, one of the worst wrecks ever, certainly in the category, but I would say of NHRA. It was extremely scary. Both of them okay here, but were you there?
I was not there. I was trying to remember where I was. I think we were at a family party when it happened, and we were watching it, or we were doing something. Eddie was telling us, "Hey, we're going up." He always texts us, "Hey, we're going up." So we were waiting, and we heard had a bad accident, and right away my mom went in like panic mode because they said it was really bad. Normally when they said accident, you kind of, all right, is he all right? Like they're like, oh, this is like really bad, and we're like, oh boy. So we kind of got all of our stuff together. We were getting ready to fly out. We were going to rent a private jet and fly out there because we didn't know how bad it really was. No one was telling us nothing. No one was saying, are they dead or are they alive? What was going on? And just a lack of communication was scary for us. And then Eddie finally called us, say, hey, he's out of the car. He's hurt, but he's fine. He's going to live. And then that's when we kind of all took a deep breath. But, thank God for the safety of those cars. But safety is really big. It's big for us as a family because that happened, but it's big NHRA wise. Them cars saved their lives. I mean, it happened so quick. I mean, yes, Bruce, it kind of was like a flat. I don't even think he remembers. He hit so hard and
it just snapped. It's like that deal
It
we
was
were
what we were talking about. Yeah, it just
snap of a second, blink of an eye.
Yep.
That car hooked.
Yep.
Hooked left, and my dad said he never even seen it.
Oh, really?
Never even seen it coming. He said he didn't see it until it was in front of him, and he says, "What am I supposed to do? 160 plus miles an hour."
You're so zoned in on what you're doing,
and it was nighttime, so I could relate to nighttime racing with a track that doesn't have a lot of lighting. It's hard to see in general.
Does it, and the shift light probably in your eye? That's
shift light's in your eyes. You're trying to make sure you make a perfect run because the night session's probably going to be a real fast run for the pro stock cars. And he said he was just in his zone, and the car came across, saw it the last second, and just prayed to God. The rest was he remembers parts of it. He remembers fire, and we're just thankful. Thankfully, he made it out of that one. That was a hard hitting deal that kind of ended Bruce's career. I don't think he's ever been back in a pro stock car since. My dad did get back in a car, and then unfortunately had another wreck, and that was the last for him. We're trying to get him back in a car, but I think
I saw the picture of him in your car.
Yeah, he got in. We fit
Get in the car, Dad. Just not that one.
Yeah. We fit. I wouldn't mind giving.
car.
I wouldn't mind giving a seat up to him.
That's cool.
Because he done a lot for me. So we've made the seat fit a little bit for him, but safety's big. He's so scared of something happened like that because it was no one's real fault. It just happened. I mean, it happened. But we know what we get ourselves into as racers and any kind of racing, dirt track, go-karts, drag racing. You know that you're putting your life on the line, and this is what you want to do.
How close have you been to a big moment?
I've been not very close. It was first round of Washington, Seattle, Washington. First round, I was racing Derek Kramer, and listen, the track's loose. Car before us got real loose. And just be prepared to push in the clutch. You don't got to be a hero today. And I remember Dave telling me that, and that thing was it was sashaying left, right, top end. I stayed in it because I peeked over. I saw him, and I saw that I was ahead of him.
So it was a round. It was a race round.
It was a race round. It wasn't qualifying. Yeah, qualifying would have pushed the clutch and never even thought about it. First round eliminations for me. Is it the right move? I know some people say no. Some people say yeah, but I want to win.
Well, as a driver, I mean, you've got sponsors on the door. You've got team. You've got a lot of responsibility, and that's when you're really going to work. How far are you going to push it?
Exactly. Yeah, I pushed it pretty far there, and I was probably the most I'll ever push it, to be honest.
Yeah, you almost have to kind of cross that line, or at least dip your toes over it, kind of like you did, to know where that was, and when you think, okay, I need to pull the plug here.
Yeah, you have to feel the breaking point where kind of like, all right, puckers your butt up a little bit, like, all right, time to push the clutch in, or this is the point, this is the max that you feel comfortable. Some drivers, Greg's great at it. He could just, he's a wheel man. The guy can just drive. So sometimes he's out of shape. Normal people would have lifted. But he knows, he's been doing it for so long. He has more runs in reverse than I have forward. He knows how far he can take it. So everyone has their different boundaries. You know, some people get out early. Some people run that thing right down Broadway. Tanner Gray told me that, you know, the front ends in front of you keep digging.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I joke around with Cody all the time. Like, hey man, Tanner told me if that front end's in front, keep digging. So I got in the car. I'm like, what the hell am I sitting on? It's this big lead pound bag of weight.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Indianapolis, Indiana, motorsports capital of the world. We're at the Performance Racing Industry Show. You're watching the Skinny. I'm Ken Stout. Rico Elmore sitting right alongside, and Mr. Kyle Koretsky, driver an NHRA Pro Stock car, courtesy of Lucas Oil, on that big team known as KB Titan inside of that category. What a wonderful team. We were just talking about it, some 5 cars strong now. Talk to me about, obviously Ken Black, behind that dream initially, 176 victories, I believe. It might be a little bit more than that, some 9 championships. What was it like? Did you get it? How did that happen, that relationship between you and them? Was that a phone call from them? Did you call them? How did that go down?
I think it was a little bit of Dave and phone call and going back and forth about, you know, is it time for me to start racing and pro stock? And, you know, where do we want to start our career? And Ken and Judy Black kind of opened the doors. They said, come on board, we would love to have you. And that's kind of where it started. They dedicated, you know, most of their life and financially part of their life to NHRA and to KB racing originally with the Blacks. And they developed so much and gave opportunities like myself, Dallas, Caruso, people that can rent an engine program with the development that they built, now owned by KB Titan, our new owners, Jim Whiteley and Eric Latino.
And we should say Titan is of Titan Racing Engine.
Titan Racing Engines, yep. So they kind of merged together, which was great. They have a lot of knowledge over there, and KB has so much knowledge. And put them together is like the ultimate team, right? Like you have 2 teams that compete against each other, both competitive. Now they're together as one. So I think that's huge for the shop. I think it brings a lot of stuff to the company, but Ken Black and Judy is like, they weren't really like a boss. They were more like a second mother and father. They loved the team. Like they didn't do it. It was a business, but they didn't treat it like a business. They treated everybody like family. So if you needed something, anything, whatever you needed, you can go to them and say, hey, look, I'm having a tough time right now. They'll help you work you through it. Just talk to you, be there a phone call away. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd really be here, to be honest. Yeah, they dedicate a lot.
How big is that company? How many employees?
I think KB Titan has probably about 45 employees now, full-time. They're a large company. They do everything, not just pro stock. They have a full-blown CNC manufacturing company as well. So they make I'm going to say, don't quote me on, but 80% of the parts in-house.
Oh, wow.
For a lot of their projects. A lot of the pro stock cars, Greg, Jeff, Lon, all those guys, they're 7 days a week. I mean, they dedicate their life. Just an idiot like me to drive. I really, everything's, happens in the shop. People forget about the shop a lot. Everyone just focuses on the racetrack, but the shop guys work hard, if not harder,
relentless,
than the crew guys. And it's cool. I love going to the shop. Every time I'm there, that's like, I don't know if they're mad that I'm there or happy that I'm always asking questions like, oh, what's this? What are we doing with this? Can I help you? Can I do that? I think I could do that. And like, Kyle, look,
stay away.
Stay out of here. Stay over the drive. You're messing up over there, you know? We don't need you in the shop messing up blocks and brand new CNC machines, But it's pretty cool. It takes, like I said, it takes a team. It takes a team to get it going. And Ken Black and Judy Black started it. And now new ownerships are just taking it to a whole nother level. They took it, Ken and Judy took it to a crazy level at their time of the era, like you said, financially and stuff. They invested everything, their heart and soul into it. And now the new owners,
Jason and Greg were they're unstoppable.
They were unstoppable. They were the guys to beat, and they were a powerhouse. And that's what I wanted to be a part of.
So, and Jim and Annie, both very successful drivers as well. And Eric Latino, one of your teammate drivers, I believe he's also a partner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So it's cool to have people that, it's not just an engine building company, obviously Pro Stock team now at this point as well, but these are absolute competitor drivers. They understand your side of the game as well.
Yeah, they understand when, I'm down there mad at the world, how I feel, because they've been there. So it's easy to relate to somebody that's a driver, a business person, an owner, or just an employee, but they've seen every aspect. They've lost that tough round where they're mad at the world like I was, or they've seen every side of it. So it's cool. It's easy to relate. It's like I said, it really is a business, but it's a family.
How much shop time? How much are you at the shop? I mean, is there how much stuff that goes on where you have to actually be there, maybe get inside of the car or do this or do that?
I try to go to the shop about 4 or 5 times during the season.
Okay.
Off season, I probably go there more than during the season just because we're traveling so much. But they got to figure it out, man. Nate and the guys, the chassis shop guys, they know my weight. They go bring the cars back. So I don't really have to be there as much as some of the other teams that don't have the knowledge that our team has, where I don't have to be there every single week.
When you're not there, are you like a bag of sand?
I'm a bag of sand. It's funny. When Dallas drove my car, our weight difference is so different. I got in the car, I'm like, what the hell am I sitting on? It's this big lead pound bag of weight because they were trying to get the balance right on the car. And I'm like, I know I'm fat, but I know I'm that fat.
You're just tall, man. You're just tall. That's great. That's great stuff. So let me ask you one other question. How much testing do you guys do for a full season? I mean, before and during.
We normally test once or twice before the season. Me personally, Greg will test. They run motors on a dyno every single day. Every single day they're testing something, but they'll go down to the local track and change some stuff, low gear stuff. Probably once a week, twice a week. I think I test about 4 or 5 times a year.
Want to get the skinny on other guests and different types of motorsports? Check out our YouTube page and get the skinny. The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach. American Coach, innovation is our life force.
Once again, welcome back to the Skinny. We're here at the PRI show. Ken Stout, Rico, Elmore. We have driver of the Lucas Oil supported NHRA Pro Stock car from KB Titan. Kyle Koretsky's been on the show with us. Thanks for taking the time, by the way.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah,
this is cool.
Thursday, not Friday, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's Thursday, and what better way to start off with you guys?
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what's 2024 look like for you, man?
I think it's gonna be an exciting year. I think we have a lot of stuff in the works. We got some pretty huge announcements coming up.
Really?
Here and
make them right here.
Big one this morning.
Won't tell anybody.
Coming up, yeah. There was a big announcement earlier. I think we're gonna have a big one here coming up next few weeks, and I think it'll be very interesting to see and keep this Lucas Oil hot rod going and making sure we're performing.
It's of course you're in the 500-inch class. Any thoughts about running a mountain motor car?
We thought about it. It's just a whole nother category. You know what I mean? If it was a 500 cubic inch engine and a bunch of other rule changes, then I think we would do it. But that's a whole nother R&D development program to get going. The engines are way different. The combinations are way different. Have we talked about it? 100%.
I wonder, I mean, do you think you could drive both on the same weekend, or do you think the driving styles would be drastically different?
I don't know if you're allowed to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know, because Erica could.
Oh, actually, Erica did.
Yeah, she did. I think.
So maybe you can do that. They probably have an exception.
Yeah.
Where they can do that. But I know, like, you can't race. Obviously, you can't race 2 pro categories. So maybe because that's mountain motors considered a sportsman. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't.
Certainly
2 pro categories like your dad did.
Yeah. I would love to do it. I'd race 3. I'd probably race pro stock motorcycle. I would race pro stock car, and I'd probably race funny car. Would be my 3 choices.
Pro stock
in a
motorcycle.
weekend.
Yeah, one weekend.
Really?
I would rip him. I would tear that thing
Well,
off. I'd definitely
good thing.
You might be a little off the pace based on weight.
It might be off the pace and look like the Michelin Man with the leather on, but it'd be one hell of a sight.
Good thing he picked the easy ones like pro stock bike and funny car.
Right.
That he doesn't drive all the time.
Yeah.
So
It'd definitely be a sight to see.
Yeah,
for sure. But
I'd watch that one.
You watch that one, yeah. I think a lot of people would like to see me in the fire suit on a bike. I
Yeah,
don't know if they make
leathers.
them that big.
Yeah.
Leathers.
That'd be straight custom.
It's usually the ones you wear during the weekend, but
Yeah.
it's a different story there.
Different leathers. Nice.
Cool stuff, man. We
Yeah.
wish you the best of luck.
Cool.
Hopefully you pick up right where you left off. I know you obviously had a hot rod here at the end of the year, so good luck going forward. Once again, thanks for stopping by, man. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Sweet.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it.